everyone, and welcome to this weekend's video. Now, Auslander999 in Ask the Cast number 5 asked if I will be able to put the comic strips that housed Allie Pooch, Barely Surviving Spook, and the other characters that were in comic strip form before I made the puppet show into a narrated slideshow. At first, I wasn't sure if I was able to do it, but I said I would, and one way or another it was going to happen. So, I put it together, and I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy as I take you through all the comic strips from the very first one to the very last one. I was working in a grocery store, and since I was in a grocery setting, I decided to put my comic strip into a grocery setting as well. Now, I had drawn this comic strip several different ways, and originally Allie Pooch was going to be in a world of blue dogs, and that was going to be the only characters. But I decided about the 11th hour that I wanted to add different kinds of characters, so I created a brown bear and named him Barely Surviving. I figured as the guy who received most of Allie's jokes, Barely Surviving was a fitting name for him. So here you go with the grocery store.
Paper or plastic?
Paper bags, please.
I'm sorry, but we're out of paper bags.
But you just...
I meant, are you paying in paper or plastic?
Oh, Allie.
In keeping with the grocery store setting, I created a nemesis for Allie, and he was going to have a longer lifespan, basically, than what I used him for. I still have my old ideas, and one of these days I might actually finish up the strip storylines, because he was going to be appearing in about 3 or 4 strips with a running gag, basically ending in the same way this one will. So, make way for Ralph the Spider.
Once my web is finished, no one will be able to break it.
Allie, go get the floor swept.
Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Let's see you sweep now. Oh, crud. No! I'll get you for this, Allie Pooch, if I can figure out how to get out of here.
Alright, bringing Barely back. We're bringing Barely back, Barely back, Barely back. We're bringing Barely back, Barely. I'm sorry. Anyway, bringing Barely back, I decided to make it where they were 2 buddies who lived together. So, you know, Allie doesn't always clean up after himself, and this is the result of what can happen when one doesn't clean up and the other doesn't see where he's going.
Tell me, was this trip really worth it?
I hate you.
When I was writing my magazine and I was putting the comic strips in there, I wrote it relatively quarterly. And so at this time I was doing the Christmas magazine, and I decided to make my strips Christmassy. So this isn't very funny, but it's a Christmas-themed comic strip.
At festive times like these, we like to spread good cheer. So Merry Christmas to all, and a Happy New Year.
Have you ever been the butt of someone's jokes for so many times that you just wanted to get back at them? Well, Barely finally had a chance to do it. And here he goes.
Allie, why do you always make me the butt of your jokes?
Well, somebody has to be there to ham it up.
I'm so glad you said that.
Hey, what are you doing?
Now perhaps you can ham it up for a while.
Couldn't resist, could you?
Nope.
Find something special in your cereal today.
You?
Me.
Very good.
Thanks.
In this next strip, I got this idea from an incident at work. One of my friends and I, he was actually my boss at the time, was doing a crossword puzzle, and the following dialogue ensued from there.
So, Allie, how's the new video game going?
I'm kicking butt.
And taking names?
Names? I'm taking initials.
Oh.
And here we go with Spook's introduction.
Meet Spook.
Sup?
Though he's got a lot of personality, he's really a one-dimensional character. See? Note, no relation to Ally McBeal.
In this strip, I am picking on the fact that I never really had an original strip for Allie Pooch. I had drawn him originally in the 7th grade, and his character did not look at all like what he looks like now. And you'll see that in this strip. I actually found my original drawing of him, and I decided to redraw Barely. I digressed my drawing skills back to my 7th grade style, and drew Barely in the same way that I'd drawn Allie. And I ended up parodying Garfield's very first strip.
Hi there, I'm Barely Surviving. I'm a pincushion, and this is my needler, Allie Pooch.
Hi there, I'm Allie Pooch, I'm a needler, and this is my pincushion, Barely.
Our only thought is to entertain you.
Feed me.
Jim Davis is going to so kill me for this.
This next strip is Spook's second comic strip, which was actually the one I drew first before I figured out how I wanted to introduce him. It's based off an incident at work, again, and based off of what happened between a guy named Pono and me when he put a hose in my side and I had an X-Acto knife in my hand. Now, in real life, nobody got hurt, but we both had a good laugh at it, and then I had to draw it. So, here you go.
Put your hands up! Okay, now what?
This next strip is based off a real-life scenario. My baby cousin, my cousin's daughter, I got to hold her when she was about 3 weeks old, and she looked very much like my uncle.
I got to hold my 3-week-old cousin the other day.
Really? That's neat! How's she doing?
Great! The only problem is that she looks like a 50-year-old grandpa.
No hair and no teeth?
Yep, no hair and no teeth.
You might recognize this joke from the Halloween episode. Only I parodied myself in the Halloween episode by parodying this comic strip. So, watch it and you'll see what I did.
Who's there?
Death.
Death who?
I hate these comic strips.
These comic strips now are in black and white. The reason? This one is the very first Allie Pooch comic strip I drew in the 7th grade. I finally found it. It was a 6-panel comic strip. And you'll see, again, he did not look anything like the Allie Pooch you guys see today.
And now for my final trick. I will saw Mr. Pooch in half and put him back together.
This is fun. Wow!
No scars or cuts.
He's right. Ah! Does anyone have any super glue? Phew! It was just a dream.
In this comic strip, I decided to include my frog Amber, the one you saw in the Christmas strip. And I was going to make her a reoccurring character and having a crush on Allie. And this one shows the beginnings of her crush.
Allie for president of what?
Oh no, I haven't decided yet.
I personally don't like coffee, but I know several people who cannot get by a single day without a giant cup of coffee, or at least a lot of little cups. So I'm making fun of all my friends that love coffee. Here's to you guys.
I hate mornings.
Why don't you try coffee?
Does that stuff really work?
Yeah, works for me.
Then, fill her up.
Holy cow!
In this next strip, I'm poking fun at myself. My parents always told me that I was always doting too much on my girlfriends. And so I decided to make fun of myself in this strip and put my parents' personality in Barely and my personality inside Allie. And here you go.
You know, Allie, I think you try too hard to please women. That's why you're still single.
How can you say that? I'm no more eager to please than the next guy. Excuse me, can either of you help? Of course I can. What would you like me to help you with? Cooking, cleaning, raising your future kids together? Just tell me and I'll be yours forever and ever and ever. Never mind.
I rest my case.
Okay.
Okay, this next strip is a very bad pun, but I couldn't help but do it. And Allie and Barely, they were the perfect characters to pull it through.
Hey, Barely, how are you feeling?
Still a little under the weather.
Where else would you be?
Oh, Allie.
Okay, this is one of the longer strips I did with Allie and Barely. There's not a lot of dialogue, so I had to include some sound effects narrating this one. But here you go.
Boing. Ouch! Owie!
So, how's your head today?
I'm still not speaking to you.
This final strip is in color, and it's the only one to include Alexander the Anchorman. At the time, I was going to make him an Anchorman, but the strip doesn't show that just yet. I do poke on the fun that his head is an anchor, though.
What happened to you?
I went home and Mom put me to work.
Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed the comic strips here, and maybe one of these days I'll do another narrated slideshow of my Wingnuts and Cashews comic strips. But until then, I will see you all later, take care, and don't forget to ask questions in the last Ask the Cast. There's still time for you guys to post your questions, and then I'll get to filming and answering those for next week. So take care guys, good day, and I will see you all later. Bye.